Good evening. Today is December the 10th, 2020, and the board is having the monthly teleconference. Present are Carol, Denise, Gina, Jan, Jean, Judy, Rick, Warren, and myself, Liz Busquets. So the way we do this is that we go down the agenda items and go around and let all directors give their comments. And then if there is a need for a motion, we make a motion and vote on it. So the first item in the agenda tonight is last month's email business.
I move to accept last month's email business.
I'll second that. This is Jan.
Okay, so we have a motion on the floor. I think it was Denise.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, to approve last month's email business, and it was seconded by Gina. Any
Jan?
further discussion? By
Second
Jan.
by Jan.
Okay. See? Got it, Jan. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. So the next item is the computer system technology update by Warren.
Hi, thank you. So what I have today, last time we talked about trying to get together a team that would support system upgrades in the future. And I think, we talked a little bit about how, it's a really big need for the organization, but of course it's also a great expense and we want to make sure we do it right. So we did have a meeting offline, talked a little bit about what might be needed, and I've included in the reading some roles that we think we might need for volunteers. And what I'd like to ask today, if the roles seem reasonable, that we would put out a solicitation through the e-news or the other means to the membership and see if there are people who want to fill these roles. And just in case I know, I sent it out late. So the various roles are: one, a product owner. So this would be the person for matching the priorities, determining how to allocate the budget, and to give approval for actual payment. A project manager, this would be a very core role, a person responsible for making sure the current requirements are on track. Really, it would be a daily role in sync with the developers. And if there were ASCA testers, give regular feedback on how the requirements are being met. It would be this person's role as well to give updates to the board. We at this point, the discussion is we're planning on a monthly, but we wait and see how that goes. But then we would need some testers. So one of the things that we want to do different than the prior implementation is to contain the development to a very small, understandable segment, and then as each segment is done, to test it, sign off on it, and then move forward. And in order to properly test it, we need folks who really have expertise within each area. So if we're doing a new agility rule, we need someone who really knows, whether it's agility scoring or implementing the uploading of results, whatever it is. We need somebody who really is familiar with that. The developers, of course, will test that we've met the specifications, but when the rubber hits the road, so to speak, we need people on the ground. And then we're looking for some technical advisors, folks who have some specific information on infrastructure decisions for the project, things related to the database, the user interface, and what type of cloud system, storage system we would use. So with those roles in mind, what I'm asking the board today is to say, are we, when we look at that, are we ready to ask for members to be a part of this and then of course we would, hopefully we would get responses, and people would put in, applications showing that they have the skills needed, and then we would try to select a group to make this move forward. So at this point, I think I'd open it up to any questions people may have.
This is Carol. I have a question.
Go ahead, Carol.
These roles all look excellent. On these roles, do any of them overlap where you would have one person would fulfill more than one area?
It's certainly possible that we could have a person that both had the skills in two areas and the will, the interest of doing that much work. That I don't think there's anything about this that says there's no overlap. That would really be dependent on somebody who wanted to do both things and could. It's going to be quite a time commitment even just to fill one role.
Yes, and on that, the thing that will worry me about that is that we've had so many problems with, the system situation in the past that I will be a little concerned about somebody being too overextended and letting something, go without actually, meaning to, but we really have to make sure that this is on the up and up. So.
Yeah, good point, Liz.
Any other questions for Warren? I kind of have one, and for some reason I can't open this.
Oh.
Could you tell me again with the first one that you mentioned, Warren?
Sure. So the first role mentioned is the title is a product owner. And I think essentially, the corporation, the ASCA is the owner, but this would be the person who would, on a normal project, be acting in that regard. So the description says the person is responsible for matching the priorities with the budget. They determine how to allocate the budget to the projects, and they have to give the approval for payment. So, in our current setup, the approval for payment is done by the board. So it's entirely likely that this role would be filled by someone on the board, and the system liaison might fit. But at this point, I'm not going to put any names to any of these roles until we have applicants. But you can see how that might fit.
Yeah, well, that was my question, because if we think that you should be the person who actually fits this role, then we shouldn't put it out there for people to apply. See what I'm saying?
Well, if there's someone better, wouldn't we want to take them?
Right, but the thing that concerns me a little bit about that is that it has stuff to do with the budget and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So it's not so much just that they have the skill and the will. Because of the way we approve expenses, they almost have to be on the board.
Yeah, either that or there will have to be a very specific chain of command here. So the person, in order to be able to relay to the company how we are, spending the money and so forth, will have to go through you and through the board to get approval before this person ever goes to inventing that talks about it. See what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, am I wrong? Maybe
No,
I'm completely.
I think probably you're right. Yeah. So yeah, would it be misleading to offer this as a role, knowing that it really we probably won't find anybody that's better suited? Good point, Liz.
So I think that this person, I mean, this is not as much of a technical role as it is, because I'm assuming that Ali would still be a person that would, talk about the technical parts of it. with inventive. But I think that
Absolutely.
would be the one that-
Whoever was the project manager and whoever were the technical advisors, they'd be the ones who would have to know the technology, the architecture, and the structure of the project. So, and I think the title of this product owner, the assumption is it's not a techie. This is someone who is speaking for the buyer. And, just like when you go out to buy a car, you don't need to know how the gas gets into the cylinders. That's somebody else's job.
Right. So that's why
Yeah.
I think, I don't know, somebody else on the board may have a different view than me, but it seems to me that this has to be a board member, and probably has to be the liaison, because you will be the one who is constantly being appraised of what's going on.
Yeah, I can see that exactly, and I'm happy to take on off. If we're all comfortable with that takes one less, really takes one less. I'm not sure what the word is, but one less opening for the membership.
Right. Does anybody have a different view on it than different interpretation from what I'm seeing?
Liz, this is Judy.
Yes, go ahead, Judy.
I don't know that I have a different interpretation. The only thing, if we wanted to keep that as manager, as project manager, which I would think that would be a more accurate term, just something needs to be put in there that person actually has to get approval for expenditures from the treasurer and the board, rather than them making the actual, they don't write the check, put it that way. They would have to get the treasurer and the board to approve, but they could still certainly do all the work and give their opinion on what needs to be done.
Right. So it seems to me that maybe it could be like rewritten to reflect that, perhaps, and maybe then a position like that could go to the membership. But as it reads right now, it looks more like it will be somebody that's on the board.
I think we need somebody so that, the last sentence says they give the approval to pay after the verification that their requirements are met. I think that is really what we're asking the role to do. And, I think you're right there. That is the role of the board. So I don't see that that's a role for a member volunteer. I think Liz, when I read this, I thought it was a natural fit that I would do that as the system liaison. I just wanted to leave it open, as I said, in case there's someone better out there. But given the activity that's going to take place, there probably is not. Who can authorize a transaction? I don't think anyone from the membership can authorize a transaction. So.
No, especially when it's going to be that much money. That has to be.
Yeah. These are not little things. Yeah.
Okay, so I guess I'm sorry, I took too much time, and I know it's getting late. So,
yeah.
Any other questions for Warren? Is everybody okay with sending these other positions out in an announcement, so that hopefully next week. So maybe when we come back in January, we have some applications.
It looks good to me. Let's move forward. Thanks. This is Jan.
Okay, if nobody has any objections, then we're gonna go forward. Nobody has objections, yeah? Nobody is sounding. Okay. Anything else for the update, Warren?
That's it from my side.
Okay, great. So the next item is the 2021 National Specialty Premium. Rick?
Yes, thank you, Liz. The National Advisory Committee has sent over their final copy of the premium and would like for us to approve it tonight. So I'd like to go around and address any changes that need to be made. Hopefully we've caught them all. And then if not, I'd like to make a motion to approve the 2021 ASCA National Premium.
Anyone has any questions for Rick or any corrections that should be made to this premium?
Liz, this is Carol, and I would just like them to correct the spelling on my name.
Okay.
If they could drop the S, there's no S. That would be great.
Duly noted, Carol. Thank you.
Thank you.
So this is Denise, and this is probably just a technical detail, but it's a really full schedule, but there's only one time that board meetings are noted, and that is on Friday. And I wondered if we're only going to do meetings on Friday, or if it needs to be looked at and get them scheduled, because I know usually it's over, 2 or 3 days. So that was just something that needs to be looked at. It's not anything that you can't, it can be changed, I know there. But, and then I also had a question on the ASCA, fundraiser. The chair of that is Suzette Pendo, and she is collecting things for that by leaps and bounds. And but she wants to know where her expenses come from, and she is concerned that they're coming from the profit made on that raffle rather than from the ASCA. The rest of the chairs are coming from ASCA specifically. So does anybody know about that?
I don't know, but isn't she representing ASCA?
She is. The only thing that she is doing, she's in charge of the raffle. She
Right.
is getting products donated to put in the raffle, and she'll put that raffle together, and she'll sell tickets. And it's specifically for the ASH. It's not her thing. It's a national.
It's CA's thing.
Correct.
Isn't it?
Correct.
Yeah, I don't think it's part of, ASCA shouldn't pay for it.
Right.
So then it
So
comes
what
from the
what exactly will be the expense if it's mostly donations?
Well, the expense is that as a chair on the committees, she is the chair, the raffle chair, the ASCA raffle chair, and that is a position where her travel expenses are paid.
No, then that needs to come from ASCA, not ASCA.
Okay, so I guess I would like to know what has been done before.
ASCA hasn't paid for it, but I have no idea if host clubs do.
Well, we had Suzette volunteered to do it at our nationals,
Right.
and then I think that at other nationals that were given by a club member stepped up and said, "Well, I'll do the raffle," which is going to be next year. But for this year, the name was on the list of the
Paid
for
chair
chair, volunteer, yeah.
is one of the positions that gets reimbursed.
That's not
Yes,
correct. That position
We
was
need to remove
removed
that.
recently. This is Cala. That position
Gala, do you have
was on the 2021 committee. That is a position, and I'm not sure how they're being reimbursed, but that's something that they need to discuss with the chair. For 2022, that position was removed, and it is not being reimbursed. So that was
right for
you guys recently did.
2022.
ASCA, no offense, but ASCA should not have to pay, for ASCA's fundraising effort.
Okay.
That's just
Okay, so maybe this is something that first needs to be taken up with the committee, but it really, maybe Rick disagrees with me, but it really doesn't have anything to do with actually the premium.
Okay,
So,
good. That's fine. That was just a question.
Yeah. Yes. And
That's
just a
true.
reminder also that we're in open session.
Sure.
Anyway, any questions or any other things for Rick?
This is Judy. I do. I see they have an agility judges seminar listed, and as far as I know, the agility committee has not committed to that, and usually doesn't, especially when it takes place on the same day as an agility trial, because there's no ring to host it in and no way to do it. So I just wondered, you know, do they know something we don't?
I can answer that a little bit, I think, because Leslie is in charge of scheduling the meetings, and so she contacted all of the committees and asked them what their preference was, and when there was no response given, then she just put it in there, and it can easily be changed or deleted. So they do need to, whoever your committee chair is, needs to contact Leslie and let them know they either don't want a meeting or they need to change it or when they would prefer to have it, because she had to have it in for the premium.
Anyone else?
Would the board like answers to these questions before we approve this commit for the approve the premium?
Yeah.
I think that
Okay.
would be wise.
Yes.
I will get those answers for you. But moving forward, you guys have had the opportunity to look at the premium, get back to me with any questions instead of waiting to the medium. This is just dragging this out. So if you have any questions, please get them to me. I'll get a quick answer for you. But I don't want to keep dragging this out.
Yeah, according to the national specialty rules, this premium needs to be approved by December 15th. So we'll need to do an emergency motion then if you guys can't approve with the changes. And just so you know, in the rules too, it allows for changes to be made between now and when the actual camera-ready copy is published. That's not done until January 1st. So any of these changes could easily be made if you guys felt like approving it tonight.
Okay, so it looks like
That's good information. I did not realize that. Thank you, Callan.
The questions that I have would
yeah.
not affect my ability to say yes, let's approve the premium.
Okay, so if these things can be changed after we approve them, because there is already something in the rules that allows for some changes to be made. I mean, and it doesn't look like there's anything real big anyway. Then it's up to Rick. What do you want to do?
I'd prefer to go ahead and approve the motion to approve the premium tonight, and with approved changes.
Make a motion.
Okay, if everybody's on board, I move to approve the 2021 ASCA Nationals premium pending updated information from the National Advisory Committee.
I'll second it. This is Gina.
Okay, so we have a motion on the floor by Rick, seconded by Gina, to approve the premium as presented, with the caveat that we have noticed some changes that will need to be made later on. Is there any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. Thanks, Carla, for reminding us on that. Okay,
Yeah,
so
sure.
the last
There's no
item
problem.
tonight,
There's just a lot of time. You know, we just have a whole month to kind of figure out the little details. So if anybody has anything
right?
between that, it's okay.
All right. Okay, so the last item is the judges for the Canadian and European affiliates. They have sent us some requests to try to do temporary changes to the judges' requirements so that they can host events even when there are traveling restrictions and other COVID-19 related restrictions. I'm not sure how much we can discuss on that, since there are, I know that the Stock Committee sent a motion that it's going to be on the voting cycle. Is that correct, Rick?
Liz, can you say that one more time?
I believe that there is a motion by the Stock Committee on this voting cycle for this purpose, right?
That is correct, and Rally from my committees.
Okay, so Stock and Rally already have motions for us
And
to look at.
agility. Agility.
And agility.
And
All right.
tracking will have one. They just haven't finished it.
Yeah, and I know that confirmation was still working on it. Right, Judy?
And
okay.
Yes.
So,
and obedience,
I'm
obedience is looking at rallies to see if they can use that as a template for
as
theirs.
a template. Okay. Okay. Great. So, so we're gonna have some already on this voting cycle, so that's great. And the others are coming along. So I'm not sure if there is anybody, any director that wants to bring up anything in addition to the efforts by the committees in having some temporary requirements.
This is Gina. I would
Go
just
ahead.
like to thank the committees for jumping on this and getting this to us so fast and recognizing the need for it. They've done an outstanding job. So thank you.
I agree that Denise, they've done a great job, getting right in there to try to get it going as quickly as possible. And so I thank all of them.
Yes, we should thank the committees for doing this work. That's it's not easy, and they have still done it pretty quickly. So I'm just so glad to see something coming to us already, and I'm really happy about that. So if there is no any other questions or comments on this, I think we were ready for a motion to adjourn.
I move to adjourn the meeting. Denise?
I'll second.
I'll second
Gina.
it, Warren.
Okay, so we have the motion to adjourn by Denise and seconded by Gina. So I'm assuming that I'm calling for a vote.
Yes.
In favor?
Aye.
All
Aye.
in favor?
Aye.
Yeah. All right. Good night, and thank you all for the meeting. It was very productive. Thank you for the membership for tuning in. Thanks. Good night.
Good
Thank you,
night.
Liz.
Stay safe.